weekends are when we usually do our sourcing of stuff. And what we normally do is we start out, I'm just going to explain the process of what our Saturday is like. So I go to where the state sales are listed online and I look and see what's happening within our area first. And then after our area, I look and see what's happening in surrounding areas, like maybe up to an hour-long drive. The other thing is because most of them close at around 4 or 5 o'clock. So if it's too far, it's too late for us to get there right now anyway. We could think ahead, but right now we haven't had much of a problem finding stuff, so there's no reason to, like, don't get crazy about it. Don't need to go getting up early. So I'm going to look up and see what kind of local stuff we have and then see what surrounding areas there are. Plus I'm going to look and see from the pictures, which are not always intuitive. They'll just post pictures around the house of things that they're selling and see if there's anything that would be even worth us going there. Because a lot of the times the sales will be kind of a dud. There's one here and then there's one that's possibly in Cambridge, another one in Verona. These are all surrounding towns that are like, these two are like 15 miles away from where we live. But there's also one more a little bit farther down in Janesville, and that's 45 minutes, and that one closes at 4. Good, we might have time. I'm going to take a look at these quick, and we'll set the schedule. And I do that by just taking the addresses and creating a saved list in Google Maps. That way I can just, instead of putting them in the whole time, I can just go through and arrange which ones I want to go to and map out my route using Google Maps while we're driving. First thing we got to do, though, is we always stop and get some coffee and a little snack before we go. We just ate breakfast, but, you know, coffee and a snack for the drive is always fun. So we stop at our local coffee shop here in the neighborhood that we like to go to. So we decided to go to the one that was 23 minutes away first, because the one that was the closest to us, after we stopped at the coffee shop, I looked at the pictures again, and they were not, it was one of those things where it's like, it's on again tomorrow, I can check it out, but it didn't look like they had anything cool. This one has some books and games. And then the other one, we still might have time to make it to the one that's 45 minutes away, if we hurry and if I stop talking here on the video. So we're going to run inside of this place. It's in out here in Janesville. Anyway, that one turned out to be just fine. I got to look and see if we still have time to get to the sale that's out in Janesville, about 45 minutes away. But this one, we got a huge haul of books, like maybe 50 books for like, yeah, $50. And those will each go for between $10 and $7. So I think we'll make that money back. So now we're gonna see, I gotta look at the map and see how long it'll take us to get to the other sale. Okay, we literally made it here with 15 minutes to spare. Had the window down, clearly. And yeah, we made good time. So we got like 15 minutes to spare. I just wanted to note that we're here. I should probably turn the car off first before we get out. So that's how quick we are. That's a good idea. So at first, that sale, after rushing and everything, I thought it was gonna be what I was afraid with the rushing, was that we were gonna walk in and it would be like, oh, it wasn't worth the trip, or the stuff that I saw the pictures of online were gone. And when we first went in, it kind of seemed like that. The basement is usually where they keep the stuff I like. So we went down there, giant basement. Like, it had 2 entryways, which truthfully I'd never seen before. Like, there was one where you could go downstairs from one side of the house and one from the other side. Went looking around and I'm like, okay, there were toys. And I was wondering if there's this thing that happens a lot where the stuff looks cool as a whole, but when you get to it, it's like, none of this stuff individually works for me. Like, I wouldn't be able to sell it individually, but in the setting that it's in, it's like, wow, being in this area is really cool and really like retro. But like, if you go, here's one item I got from it, it'd be like, so what? What's that? But it was like, it's really cool while it's there. So they had tables laid out, all this. And then I found a bookshelf filled with stuff. And I'm like, there are the books that I saw online. Looked at them. They were all torn up. The coloring books were, of course, all colored in, which always sucks because they were good old coloring books.
They were great.
But they were useless. I didn't get one book from that whole thing. And then we went upstairs and then started to find stuff towards the end as we were walking through the kitchen, which was the kitchen was like a dining room and a living room Like, the kitchen itself was like my parents' house. It was weird. But we walked through that, found some things, and then all of a sudden we found like 4 more rooms that we thought we were done. We had a few things, and then we found 4 more rooms, and then a bunch of books, bunch of old books and games, and then we started finding stuff. So we ended up walking away. And also, it was the last day of the sale, and on the last day, this is the other thing I forgot to mention, most estate sales are 50% off on the last day. Yeah, so
we scored.
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff for only $50. So like maybe, oh my God, like
we got 4 bags worth of stuff.
Yeah, we got 4 bags worth of stuff, and it was only $50. Now we're going to do one more thing that we normally do that also helps us out. This is another part of our process. We drove all the way to another town 45 minutes away, so we're going to first go get a treat or something and like, you know, have a little snack, and then we're going to look for... I accidentally dropped my phone for a second. So now we're going to go do another thing that is usually pretty beneficial to us, and it's a way to kind of just like go around the different areas that we get to travel to because of this. We're going to go to either a Goodwill or a St. Vinny's that's nearby, whichever is closer, and see what they got there. And we always end up finding a bunch of cool stuff, and we get to find out, like, when there aren't any estate sales, we can go, we know in this town, this is a good one. Like, one of our favorite ones is one in Milwaukee. That's always really good. Another one is a St. Vinny's in Lake Mills. Always has great stuff. And we discovered that by going to different estate sales. So that's what we're going to do next. So we stopped to get some, we ended up finding an ice cream shop, a chocolate shop here in Janesville, and ate there. Guy was actually super polite when we were there. He was really happy to see us. It was like they were bored. And now we're at the Goodwill here in Janesville as well. We're going to go see what this one is like, and then round out our day with that. But there's nothing good in there. We got like maybe 5 things. Nothing really even that cool to speak about. I did break something. Felt bad about that a little bit. But it was, so I was on the fence there was this Halloween ornament. Now, I still love collecting little, if Halloween things look cool, I just like to get them in the first place, not even particularly for Halloween. And there was this cool little ghost ornament, and I was holding onto it, and I kept almost dropping it as I was carrying stuff. So I put it inside this mug that I had, and I'm like, okay, that way I won't drop it. And then when I finally went to go look at something on a lower shelf, I leaned over, the cup tip thing fell out and it broke. Picked it up, and then I felt bad because later on we were walking around, and I feel like the girl who realized something broke in one of the aisles knew it was me that did it. I felt like she looked at me while she was walking with a broom over to the aisle, even though it was like 5 minutes later.
That's funny.
Anyway, moral of the story is this wasn't a Goodwill, but whatever.
This wasn't a good Goodwill.
This wasn't a good Goodwill.
It was
You're
a
right.
Goodwill.
This wasn't a particularly...
Prolific? Bountiful?
There was nothing here at this Goodwill. So after all that stuff, what was that, 3 places we went to? Going through just some of the things that we got. I'm going to start with the estate sale stuff because that's the stuff that's actually interesting. So one is this old chess tutor set. Tutor. If you can read, you can learn to play chess in 30 minutes. Actually, that might be kind of handy. I actually don't know how. I knew how to play chess, and now I don't remember because I haven't played it in forever. And I'm sure I'd remember once I start doing it. A play school. Oh, geez. That was not level. We got a play school landscape peg set. Now, this was in the basement, I think, of that first place. So you get a pegboard like this, little landscape on it, and then you take these pegs and figures that are inside the box and blocks and put them around the pegboard and make different landscapes. Creative Playthings Magic Set. More than 50 tricks. Magic egg. I'm going to have to look at these instructions. Luckily, it comes with the instructions. Let me see there. Magic set. And since it was a 50% off day, this one was actually a little more pricey, but half off, I think it'll be all right because it's going to be a pain to ship. But it's one of those little marble games. So this came out the bottom. There's the marble. Then you put it in the top and you try and... Oh, I lost right away. Then you try and maneuver it with these pegs around the board. like that right there. And it's actually in really good condition. And there's this thing here. So I think this alone for the condition that it's in was worth it. And plus half price. Ooh, I keep losing that marble. Big, long, I've actually never seen this before, but it's a big, long Sesame Street book with the amazing Mumford, who's the guy that went a la peanut butter sandwiches. And it's got Grover in it because Grover during this time period was very popular in these books. Plus, it was illustrated by Mike Smallin, who is the person that I had talked about that did most of the illustrated Muppet stuff at the time. He was hired from an ad agency by Jim Henson, and he basically just said, we want you to be the guy that draws most of our stuff. So it has little cutouts in it that goes like this. So here's the cutout of pineapples, and then now the pineapples are on the other page. Then, let's see what other ones we got. We got a whole set of, I actually sold all of these, and now we've got a whole set of them back so we can sell them again. What they would do is they would take the animated shorts and segments from the show and take pictures of them, and because I mean they were lessons, you were watching Sesame Street, they were lessons, and they'd turn them into like storyboards so you could go through each page. This one in particular is for letters. It's the book of letters. Then there's the Sesame Street book of numbers, and it would show like numbers. And then here's the from the pinball segment 3, and then here's the book of shapes. And this is the book of people and things, which shows more of the characters of like the who are the people in your neighborhood type stuff. And then book of puzzlers. Here's the funny thing though. You would think I could sell them as a set. I could go, hey, buy this whole set of books. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I normally sell these books when I collect books and finding the illustrated books and curating them and things like that. I would sell them for $10 a piece, no problem. If I were to say, here's a whole set for $50, people would say, you're out of your mind. Would you take like 20 for it? Which I can just sell them separately. So I'd love to keep them together, but I can never sell them as sets because they either don't go or people go, I'll pay you less than you would get if you would sell them individually. Very strange concept. I understand it. I just don't, I'm trying to fix how that would work in my favor now. Because I actually feel bad breaking up sets like this. I feel like they should be together.
Yeah.
It's like when I buy toys that are clearly meant to be together, but you can't sell them as a set or else you lose money. I don't know. I love it when I find, I normally don't pick up Dr. Seuss books when they're like Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham. 10 million of those exist. Everybody has one. Bleh. Don't need it. But when I find one like this, the Diggiest dog, or Digginist dog. So that's a beginner reader, huh? Anyway, I'm not familiar with this, or am I, or kind of, but I love it when I find these that are unique and not just Dr. Seuss type things. Little dog digging holes. And we've got Pete and Johnny to the Rescue. This one is by Jorgen Kleben. It's got like pencil drawings in there and stuff. Oh, there's a Disney Johnny Appleseed. This is like Ferdinand the Bull type artwork. This is really cool. It's all shaded and ink washed. What else we got? We got a bunch of shape books, which are always fun. This one's for the shopping book, illustrated by William Dugan. So it's got that kind of artwork in there, which I love. Another shape book, which is the horse book, which has horses in it. Makes sense. The parrot book, which means that it has dogs in it. No, it means it has parrots in it.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah. So these are, never been much into birds though. Never got them. Mary Poppins one. Ooh, this one actually says it was illustrated by Al White. Normally Disney does not put the illustrator, they just go illustrated by Disney Studios. This one is a big surprise book, and it's got all the way through, there's sections that are cut out. I don't understand, they're like hiding behind each other. But I'm sure if I read it, I'll find out why these are all cut out so you can see behind them. Who knows? Rusty. Look at illustrations by Emo. There's Rusty hanging out, being sad. He's not even in that room. The dog is going, ennui. I was happy to find these because I used to have a copy before. It's basically, these were the Comics Digest where they would collect the comic books and the newspaper comics they would do for all the Disney books. And I sold it right away and I never got to read it, the other one that I got. So I found another issue. How big is a baby? I almost thought it was going to say, how big is my baby? Wonderful Tony. Whatever, he's not so great. Too many names. Tell me about it, buddy. The Happy Twins. I don't even have to make jokes about these anymore. Their titles are ridiculous. Whoa, Joey. Wait a minute. Whoa, Joey? Like Joey, this is literally Joey Lawrence's thing. And then, The Three Orphan Kittens from Walt Disney. That's actually a good one. Those are the books. Whoa, Jesus, and they all just fell. Plus, on top of that, we found a couple of 45s. We're trying not to get records, but we got these 45s just because the album art and the way they're done look cool. There's, Star is Born, Judy Garland, 45. It's actually a collection of 45s. It's like a booklet. So that alone, like even just for display purposes, is cool. Decca Records, the Call Me Madam soundtrack, Irving Berlin. 2 records inside that. Love Me or Leave Me, Doris Day, another collection. Like these are just neat looking.
Yeah.
So it's something that's cool to have. I mean, hell, even framing them is neat. Plus, these will never play. They're records, but they're not. Here's one they're just picture records. Kitty Cat. Mickey Mouse Mouseketeer record, which was clearly a cardboard insert that came with a toy or a magazine. And here's a Santa Claus one that's just a picture disc. And the funny part is on the back. Look at that. It's like the back of him. He's right there. Anyway, ABC Rhymes. That's a classic golden book with a back that I've never seen before. I've seen a bunch of golden books that I've never seen this back before. This one I picked up specifically for the title. It's like a 4th of July one. Really cool sort of 50s magazine illustration type stuff. Which am I? Bird, beast, or fish? And this, I actually just got done watching this series. Again, I have a set of like season 1 and season 2 of Magilla, Gorilla for Sale. And it's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon that came out in like 69, I believe it was. And this one is Magilla Gorilla Takes a Banana Holiday. And it's a Telltale book. It is in crappy condition, but I like Magilla Gorilla. Wow, every page is colored out. Okay, this page isn't. But this book is in rough shape. I just like this. Here's one I got specifically for the advertisements, because I want to cut these out and use them. It is a Harlem Globetrotters on tour, what would it be, pamphlet, guide. Like you'd get them when you went to go see them. It was almost like a program. There you go. When you went to go see them perform. But the whole thing is just filled with ads because that's how they would pay for it. They would sell ad space in them. And then there'd be a story, which that's fine. Cool version of the 1980s Globetrotters. And then it's Ice Capades. Stuff like that. So I got it mainly for the advertisements. And this one was sitting out front. I thought it would have been more, but it was actually really cheap. It's like paper dolls, only they're not paper dolls. They're like stand-up paper toys. So it's Alice in Wonderland. They're still in place, but you would take them out and then they have little things on the bottom so you can stand them up. And it's the old illustrations of them and it hasn't been used. Always a good sign. So I don't even know when this is from. I just thought it was really cool. Oh, I think it's from 1945, actually. That's essentially what we did today. That's how we replenish our stuff for the week. And now I'm going to be posting that stuff all week and selling things. Oddly enough, we sold several things while we were off doing this trip. That's the beauty of putting all the stuff online and having the cart. Still have this pile of stuff to go through. Although this pile right here, this section, is some of what I just did today. But this stuff is still being backed up over there. I mean, that's pretty much what I do on weekends, and that's how I source for this business, to get stuff on the shelves and sell them, and you can overlap it because stuff is selling while I was out there doing it.